Wonderful, wonderful. Nick, this is a great, great topic, especially in today's economy. Everything, it seems like our income is getting reduced because everything is so expensive now. So, but this class is so important. It's going to give you a lot of information, a lot of step by step of what to do when you're facing a financial emergency. So, with that, thank you again to American Heritage Credit Union for their partnership and trust. When
Mhm.
income decreases, but the bills don't. A little bit about Money Management International, a national full service nonprofit financial education and counseling organization. Our mission is to improve life through financial education. Money Management International provides a variety of services that helps consumers manage their finances, and that way they're also able to achieve their goals. One of our programs that we have is a free online learning program, learn.mmiuniversity.org. At the end of the presentation, you will be able to see that link to register online, and it is free of charge. We also provide budget and credit counseling, and that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, at the end of the presentation, you will see the phone line, the phone number. However, the American Heritage Credit Union have a dedicated phone line that is also available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, available also for members and non-members. So at the end of the presentation, you will be able to see that number. So we encourage everyone who's attending this class today to take advantage of this resource, take advantage of this program, and that way you're able to talk to a certified counselor and go over your own personal situation, your own credit history, your own budget, your own questions, your own situation. And then the counselor is able to give you a lot of advice. Another program that we have is we are one of the largest HUD approved agencies in the country. HUD stands for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So we provide many counseling sessions on pre purchase, post purchase, pre rental, post rental, eviction prevention, foreclosure prevention, reverse mortgage. And of course, we also have the home buyer workshops that they are required for any down payment assistance programs out there. Another program that we do via counseling, student loans, credit report reviews, and post disaster recovery counseling. Counseling is available again 24/7 and is available via the phone, online, or via chat. So lots of great information. And I know Nick at the end of the presentation, he will also be able to give you other online resources that the American Heritage Credit Union has to offer. So lots of resources, and they are free of charge. So, what I am going to be covering in this class today? Well, loss of income for any reason can be challenging, okay? Even if it's just a reduction of hours or maybe a reduction on your paycheck, for any reason can be challenging. Today, I'm going to be give you some strategies to help you manage when income decreases but the bills don't. I will cover the importance of assessing your current situation, including how to obtain your credit report and determine your new income and expenses. I will also help you analyze available resources, how to create a priority based spending plan, and I'm going to give you some steps that you are able to take when contacting creditors and service providers. I will also explain to you the rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And at the very end, I'm going to give you some strategies so you're able to prepare for future emergency situations. Well, a lot of times we don't want to think about any other future emergencies that they may arise, but we need to be prepared. So lots of helpful resources and a lot of information that I'm going to be giving you here today. All right. So main thing is that you're not alone. You're not alone. So facing again a loss of income or reduction of income can be devastating. Many times it feels like you are all alone. You know, that's how when we are facing something, we just think that it's just happening to us, never happened to anybody. But yes, we are not alone. There are many people and agencies that can help, and this is the time for planning, not panic. Your situation will likely require you to take stock and utilize resources around your city, your church, your community, your county. Your situation will, will allow you to kind of think and see specifically what type of help you're gonna need depending of your situation. Now, whether you have experienced a layoff, reduction of hours, or loss of income and tips, uh, or increase expenses. Yes, and today that's what we are facing. A lot of expenses that have just gone up in prices. There are including your creditors. And some of these organizations, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, they could be local, they could be a state, or maybe some government program. There are a lot of help out there. We just need to go out there and find them and ask questions and go and research. Knowing where to go, what to ask, and how to document your situation are all key aspects of getting the help you need to overcome a financial setback. We need to get in that beast mode. Many of you have probably heard the term beast mode, usually when people are talking about sports or competition. But when an unexpected situation happens, that's what we need to put ourselves into a beast mode as we tackle our finances. There are 5 steps. There are 5 steps that we are going to be analyzing. We're going to be giving you here, and again, all this information is also in the handouts that you will be receiving after the presentation. American Heritage Credit Union will send you all the resources. So this is one of them, the whole information about the 5 steps. All right. So the 5 steps. So what does this mean? Well, it means that I am going to, well, all of us are going to explore all the options. Maybe make some hard choices and have important conversations in our household, because there is only one goal when there is a crisis, and that is to get through it with the least impact to our families, and that includes our family finances. So we will put everything out in the table, and we need to do whatever it takes. So the steps will be: number 1, assess your situation. Step number 2, analyze available resources. Step number 3 is create a priority-based spending plan. Step number 4, contacting your creditors. And step number 5, recovering strong. All right, so let's talk about each of these steps in detail. So the first step is to assess your situation. Knowing where you are right now can help you determine how to get back on track after an income loss or reduction. Now, some of the tools that they are going to help you assess your financial situation is your credit report, looking at your credit report, looking at your household budget, looking at your bank and financial statements, looking at your net worth statements. So all of this are tools that they're going to help you assess your situation. Now, let's talk about the very first one here, obtaining a copy of your credit report. That will be a very good place to start because credit is considered for many things, including employment offers in some cases. It is important to know what your credit report is saying and making sure that it is accurate, that there are none errors in there. Knowing all the details of active accounts, including balances and payment requirements, will be key as you build a spending plan that is going to help you manage your current situation. Under the FACT Act, and that stands for the Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act, consumers are eligible for a free credit report from each of the credit bureaus once every 12 months. However, since last September, and this was throughout the pandemic, the credit reporting agencies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, were allowing consumers to request their credit report once a week. They have also continued that. So you are eligible to request your credit report once a week for free. Information on this is also in the handout that you will be receiving. I have attached a form that I downloaded from the Federal Trade Commission. And under the annual credit report, you're allowed to request your credit. You're able to request it three ways, either through the internet under annualcreditreport.com, the official site. Okay, remember now everything seems to have kind of like a second, the same name, but it's not the legit one. Okay, via phone number, or you also are able to complete that form that I have mentioned, that I attach in this presentation, and you're able to mail it back to get your credit report. Once you have your credit report, remember, it's important to request it from the three credit reporting agencies, one from Equifax, one from Experian, and one from TransUnion. Once you have your credit reports in front of you, take note of all active account information and take steps to dispute any erroneous information and address potentially negative items. Next, you need to identify your income and regular expenses. And this ultimately is going to help you create a spending plan that incorporates resources and helps ensure priority expenses are paid first. Now, I just mentioned that you are able to dispute any erroneous information on your credit report. Under the FCRA, that is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, we consumers are allowed to dispute any information that is not accurate for free directly with the credit reporting agency that is reporting that information. Now, why I keep saying all of the three credit reporting agencies? Because you may have information in one credit report that you don't have on the other one. Reporting to credit report, it is not mandatory, all right? It's volunteer. So you may have one account in one credit report that you don't have on the other one. So it's very important to check everything. So you have a big and accurate picture of your situation when it comes to your creditors. All right, so let's talk about determining your income. When determining your income, you need to include only the income that you can count on consistently, like unemployment, if you're receiving any, or other benefits that you are receiving consistently. It could be a child support, it could be alimony, it could be wages from a part-time job, or any other income that you're receiving. And then I have also included this worksheet and in the handout. So please remember that you need to, when you're determining your income, we're going to be using your net income, not your gross, your net income. That is the money that is left out. That is the money that it goes directly to your checking account or your cash, your check. Then you're going to determine all your expenses. So after determining a consistent income, you will need to get a good picture of what your current expenses look like. Expenses typically fall into three categories. Okay, they fall into one of the three categories. These categories are fixed expenses, variable expenses, and periodic expenses. Fixed expenses occur each month and they are the same amount every month. Some examples of fixed expenses is your rent or mortgage, your car payment, your car insurance, your daycare, and any monthly memberships that you may be paying, any bills that they're monthly, like same amount, like internet, cable, cell phone, any utilities that you may be on a budget plan, anything that is the same amount, maybe a personal loan that you're paying back. So those are all fixed expenses. The next expense category will be your variable expenses, and these happen every month, but the amounts differ. So some examples of these expenses are going to be your food out, your grocery shopping, your gasoline, some of your utility expenses. It could be your entertainment or food out in restaurants. So very important just to go over all those expenses. You may be wondering how I'm going to be able to put those amounts in under that category. Well, you need to find the average. What is the average amount that you need to have every month to be able to cover that expense, right? And then the last category will be your periodic expenses. And these can be thought as now and then expenses. They usually happen once a year, twice a year, three, four, five, or six times a year. Examples of expenses under this category will be your end of the year celebrations, your birthdays or birthdays and celebrations, special celebrations throughout the year, holidays, your back to school expenses, your car maintenance, oil changes, your clothing, your health and beauty supplies. Another one could be your cleaning supplies. If you have a pet, that will fall into this category. Any visits to the doctor, co-pays, if you use glasses or contacts, back to school, things like that. Okay. Also, your car registration may be one of those. So in this category, you need to calculate the monthly amount that you need to save every month. So total the amount a year. Let's see, oil change, $120 a year divided in 12, that will be $10. So every month you need to have in your budget $10 toward that bill, so you are saving and you have the amount available when it comes. So And you are going to be putting all those amounts that you're currently spending in each category uh, under the column where it says amount. This form, this monthly spending plan, is also included in your handout. So you are able to put all those expenses under the amount column. Okay, the amount column. So we're going to leave room for temporary adjustments in your spending plan as you build your priority spending plan. So if you see, the next column is going to be your adjustments. Some expenses, I know, we all know, some expenses we are not able to change, we're not able to control, we're not able to make adjustments. So, but there are other expenses that we may be able to address where we may be able to spend less money. All right. So again, this form is also included in your handout. Family meeting. Family meeting. Having a family meeting is very, very important. And here we need to include the kids, the children, uh, any adults living in the household, adult children, parents, anyone that is part of that household needs to be included in that family meeting. When including the kids, especially young children, it is important to explain the current situation. And while we never want to frighten children, especially at a young age, we also don't want to keep important information from them. Okay, so very important to in that family meeting, it is important to bring out what is going on with the current situation, how it is affecting everyday life, and possibly affecting the finances for the household. Now, one of the advice that we give is that if you have older children living at home, it might be necessary to have them contribute by using their own money on everyday expenses for right now. For right now. So whether they may have money saved from a job or savings. So if that is the case, that we ask adult children to contribute, then we can set up a tracker so that if we use that money, if we borrow that money from them for bills or whatever, then we need to make a commitment to pay it back once the full income is back in place, once the whole situation is back on track. It is also maybe necessary to forego some expenses that everyone in the family may take for granted. And that's why I was included the small children. The small children's, usually we take them out for the pizza and games, or we do maybe twice a month or once a month a special outing. So they need to understand that changes may occur temporarily. And that's what we are aiming to, that these changes are temporarily. All right, so let's talk about the next step number 2. And this is analyzing available resources. So now that everyone is on the same page, we have had the family meeting and everyone is on the same page and the lines of communications are open, it is time to analyze all the resources available. Now, when we are facing a financial crisis, we may think that there's no resources, there's no help out there, there's nothing we can do. But there are more than we think. There are a lot out there, more than we think. So let's look at all the ways that you can find and leverage cash and community resources to get you through this time, right? So in here, we can look at savings. See if we have any emergency savings put away, and now might be the time to use that savings. It kind of sounds hard, very hard, that we need to dip into those savings, but it could help us to avoid creating more debt. And then we're able to handle necessary expenses while the income is reduced. One thing very important is that we do take that money that we have put away. It is very important to maintain the adjusted budget once the income gets back to normal, so we can replenish that savings, that emergency funds, as quickly as possible. If your job and regular pay has been impacted, then contact the Department of Labor for any unemployment benefits. You can go onto their website, depending on the state that you live, and then just follow directions in there. If your household regularly has more than one income and only one person's pay has been affected, then there are a couple of ways to temporarily increase the take home pay of those still receiving paychecks in your household. And here, what is recommended is to review your withholding selections and temporarily, again, temporarily adjust them, especially if you have been receiving income tax refunds, large income tax refunds. Many people don't complete their W-4 with all the exemptions that they could in order to receive a refund, or to make sure that they don't owe taxes at the end of the year. But this reduces the take-home pay each paycheck. So those who still have paychecks coming in can make an adjustment in their W-4 through their employer. But remember, temporarily, you need to write it down to make sure it goes back, so we don't end up paying when taxes are due. There might be other maybe ways. I know some of the household, well, a very large amount of household may be contributing to a long-term savings, such as 401k or 403b. By using payroll deductions, they're putting this money away. So it might be a good time to examine those deductions temporarily again, and consider stopping them or maybe reducing them, so we can get more cash flow into the household. Um, Maybe a gig economy jobs, maybe a part-time jobs, uh, maybe looking for extra hours or extra job part-time might be a good way temporarily to bring some cash, some supplement income. um, Community resources and programs. Now, uh, depending where you live, it's very important to see what your city provides, what community organizations are in your area, your church or place of worship. Your children's schools also have a lot of resources. Your library also have a lot of resources. One great place to find a specific help will be United Way. They have a 211.org, and you can go to United Way and find the United Way agency in your area, in your city, in your state, and see what programs and agencies are available in your area. So when we are facing also a financial hardship, uh, we are also need to be very careful when using credit cards to pay bills. credit cards are generally one of the more expensive ways to close the gap between income and expenses. The interest can really add up. So if you must consider using credit to get through a crisis, start with the lowest, start with a credit card that has the lowest interest rate option. But if we can just put them away, if we can just take them out of our wallet, put them in the freezer, and try not to use them, because it can be costly and costlier. All right. So uh many plans, if you have I mentioned this a little bit about reducing maybe your contributions to a long term, but some programs may allow early withdrawal, or maybe just a temporary loan, depending in emergency. But we need to keep in mind that if we do any withdrawal for those long-term savings, we are going to be penalized. Um, Depending, if it's an emergency, they may waive the penalty, but we still have to pay taxes because that's money that it has not been taxed yet. So um, again, community resources and program, 211 United Way, 211.org, and look around in your community. Step number 3, creating a priority-based spending plan. So we have already looked at all our resources. You have made a list of all the resources available, what things there are available. So the next step is to evaluate the budget and create a priority-based spending plan. Why a priority? Because we are only going to concentrate in the priority expenses. Although this sounds easy, this can be hard to do also, because we become so accustomed to living a certain way. And sometimes the line between a want and a need can get a little bit blurred. Okay. So it is time to get into that expense reduction beast mode. So might not be fun, but it is necessary. And it's going to help you. It's going to help you and your family uh, to be able to be on a same plan, to be able to get back where you were before. It is very important, again, remember that family meeting, that everyone needs to be on the same page about tightening the budget and reducing expenses. A priority based spending plan is an adjusted budget that can help you to make sure, that can help ensure your necessities are paid first. They're paid first. Okay. So, and here, you are going to start talking about needs and wants. Okay. Uh, Start by taking a hard look at all the expenses. Priority expenses are the ones that must happen, must have, necessary. Example in here could be your roof, your rent, your mortgage, your food, your utilities, your medications, your car payments, your car insurance, important things. Okay. In contrast, non-necessity items are the ones that they are nice to have, but they are not necessary. Some examples of this may be cable, apps, streaming devices or services, haircuts at a salon, gym memberships, entertainment, eating out, any other expense that you may deem it is not necessary. Remember, we're talking about temporary adjustments. And then once everything is good, then we're back. Okay. Look back at all those expenses and circle the wants and needs. Make sure everyone in the family is part of that meeting, is part of those talks, and that way everyone is able to give their own opinion. All right. um when prioritizing expenses, everything that is not a priority will need to be deferred as much as possible. Even expenses on a monthly contract might be negotiable. Okay, so in here is where we need to contact the servicer and explain the situation, so it can be, they can be negotiable. It may not be pleasant to think about cutting your cable or maybe any streaming services, but it might be necessary. Again, even if it's just temporarily until your situation changes. Now, besides reducing or eliminating some want items, you may be able to work out at home, maybe shop at discount stores, cook more at home, prepare your lunch and take it to work, look for free community events in your area, contact creditors and service providers to request discounts or maybe a payment plan. Okay. You could also try the step down spending. And this is a suggestion, this is a solution where you step down the cost of an activity incrementally. For example, if going out to eat with drinks and desserts may cost you $60-$80, you may want to find a less expensive alternative. Might be going to a family restaurant, or maybe going to one of those where adults um, eat and then the children eat for free. Or if you can reduce the cost further, maybe just a fast food. Or if you want to reduce it more, then maybe just eating at home and making a nice dinner, and maybe renting a room, a movie, um, or taking it for free at the library and having a nice dinner, family dinner with a pizza and a movie. Okay, so so those are some of the things that we may, be able to do to uh, save money and until we get back. Another thing that you may want to also is look at your car insurance, look at the premiums that you have in some of your insurance. Call your insurance agent and ask what they can do temporarily. They may have some options to postpone or make a smaller payments until your financial situation changes. The bottom line is, from entertainment and personal expenses to insurance, you need to examine your options. You need to contact your service providers and ask them what options they have available to help consumers when they are facing an emergency setback. I mean, an emergency financial setback. All right. Okay. So here we go back to the monthly spending plan. And in here, we're going to use the adjusted column. So in here, we have already met with the family. We have already addressed some of the expenses. We have been able to make adjustments. So now it's time to revisit your spending plan and list your adjusted expenses on each area. And that way you have something in front of you that allows you to know what's going on, what expenses, where the money going, and how much money is coming in. Step number 4, when you cannot, because we already look at our budget, we already know what we're able to pay and what we're not able to pay. So when you cannot meet all your obligations, it is important to work with your creditors. I mentioned this briefly a few moments ago when I was talking about resources. Working with creditors and financial institutions could be the key to helping you manage your finances and recover strong. I have already, explained to you the importance of establishing a priority spending plan and the importance of identifying all the top priority expenses. But what if after you have done all of that, you have examined all your resources and reduce your expenses as much as possible, you still cannot make your payments? Or maybe you're able only to make partial payments, okay? So in here, it's very important to contact each creditor. You're going to make notes. You're going to take notes of each call that you make. You're going to follow up in writing, and you're going to know your rights. And this is going to take me to the next step. To the next slide, is step by step. Generally, creditors want to help you if they can, but it is up to you to be able to communicate with them. It is up to us, to all of us, to reach out to them. While help may be available, they are not going to automatically give us a call, okay? Or they're not going to offer us a hardship plan. We need to ask for, right? So contact your creditor, contact each creditor in your list. It is important to call and ask for help. If you are a homeowner, your lender or mortgage service provider may offer assistance in the form of a forbearance or other programs. If you rent, you need to contact your landlord right away and ask about rent assistance. The same goes for student loan servicers and auto loan providers. What is a forbearance? A forbearance is a temporary reduction or suspension in payments. So with this option, you'll have to pay the forbearance amount back when your regular income resumes. This is especially on mortgage loans, okay? And then when we are paying a mortgage, very important to contact not only your services but also a HUD uh, counseling agency, a housing agency certified by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. We also do that. The agency also do foreclosure prevention. When negotiating with creditors, state your situation clearly. Ask about specific options you qualify. Review your priority spending plan to determine how much you're able to pay each creditor before you begin the negotiation process. Please do not agree to more than what you can afford. Be prepared to answer questions such as what cost the hardship, how much can you pay, can you afford to pay, when can you resume regular payments. So being prepared ahead of time will go a long way in helping you work together with your creditors to find the best solution. Taking notes, okay? So when talking to the creditors or your student loan servicer or your mortgage servicer or your landlord, is very important to take notes. Write down the date and time of your call or conversation, what number you call, the name of the person that you spoke to, what it was offered, what is the agreement, what is the plan that was ultimately agreed upon. Um, Once you agree on a workable plan, put together a letter summarizing the details of your discussion and mail it to them, or maybe via email. so you have something in writing. Okay. So and then please continue to monitor your statements, continue to monitor your credit report, continue to monitor that everything is going well to ensure that you're receiving the assistance that it was discussed. Knowing your rights, and here I advise you that you visit the Federal Trade Commission, that is the ftc.gov, for more information, more detail. Um, if you do get behind and find your accounts placed for collection, you have rights and protections under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, or in other words, is the FDCPA. You can find details and more information about this act on the Federal Trade Commission website, ftc.gov. But ensure, what is this law about? Well, debt collectors cannot harass or threaten you or discuss your debt with anyone other than you. So they can contact family members to try to locate you, but nothing else. They also have contact. They also have contact restrictions. They can only call between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. They cannot call you at work if your employer asks them not to, and they must honor written requests to all together. So if we're not able to pay, we need to send them a letter in writing saying we're not able to pay. Please do not contact anymore. However, we still owe the debt. That doesn't mean that the debt will go away. The debt will still be our debt, but they are not able to continue to call us. And what they do is they sell that account to a different collector, a different debt collection company. Step number 5, the last step on the program, is recovering strong. Now, it may take some time, but your situation is going to change. All we need to continue is continue to be positive, continue strong, in that beast mode. You are going to be receiving your paycheck again. But until that happens, you still need to work on repaying loans, or until that happen, or when that happen, you need to set a plan to work on repaying loans, bringing the accounts current that you got behind. Remember to check your credit report, you know, to make sure everything is correct. And that is also the perfect time to continue to plan, prepare, and position your finances to handle maybe a future situation. And then in here is also important to continue to build emergency savings, reduce or eliminate debt, okay? And again, prepare for future events, So once regular paychecks resume, pay off any loans, credit card debt, or other obligations as quickly as possible. Consider maintaining the priority-based spending plan that you have created until everything is already paid, emergency savings kind of built. So, just continue to use that priority spending plan. Remember to monitor your credit report once every 12 months, but now you are able to request it every week if it's necessary. Build an emergency savings. We try to advise to aim for 3 to 6 months, but even continue to have as much as you possible. Reduce or eliminate debt and prepare for future events. I have also included one of the handouts that I have included in here is an exercise that is called uh, record of daily spending. That is a tracking exercise that allows you to track daily for 31 days all your expenses. So in that way, you're able to know where your money is going, and you're able to identify ways that you can save or reduce expenses. The other handout that I have included in here is a flexible way to save $1,000 in 12 months. So maybe that will be your first goal, is to create an emergency savings for 12 months. And then it is an easy way and a flexible way that that you're able to increase your savings. All right. Okay. So one last thing that I want to mention is that if after getting back with your job and you're still in debt, consider implementing what we call a rapid repayment plan to pay down your debt. Sometimes these are also called debt snowball or a debt avalanche. These plans help you reduce debts as quickly as possible with the least expense. There are several websites that help you create a debt snowball or debt avalanche plan, and they're all free. We have a class, and we offer this class through the credit union, so keep an eye on it. Keeping debt under control and also putting debt on a diet. So sometimes people find themselves unable to manage all their debt, even once their situation changes again. But what we advise is to continue work on it, to be positive. But if you find it still unable, then get help. Search for help. Our phone number is available 24/7. The credit union has a dedicated phone line for members and non-members for free counseling. All right. So always create a plan. Have a plan on mind that will able to help you if something will come up, will arise in the future. Disasters can strike at any time. Financial emergency can strike at any time. So planning, preparing, and positioning yourself to handle your finances, to have enough emergency savings, to know what you need to do, is going to help you safeguard you against future financial emergencies. All right. Okay, so prepare for the future events. Have a priority-based spending plan. Taking steps to reduce debt and save money. Then you are already well on your way to building a strong financial readiness plans. Consider adjusting insurance coverage to help protect you against any eventuality. Compiling a household inventory, an emergency contact list, important documents and records. Have some available cash on hand, and then also some supplies that you may need to have in case that food, or you have to be away from your home. Okay. So for more information on this, you can go to ready.gov. All right. So just remember, you're not alone. You're not alone. Okay. Please keep that in mind. Unexpected situations arise, but there are a lot of organizations, there are people out there, community resources that are available to help. So once you have assessed your current situation, take time to analyze your resources. Create a priority-based spending plan. Okay, that is cutting, reducing expenses might not be nice, but it's necessary. Contact your creditors and service providers for assistance. And when the current situation changes, take steps to build a future financial readiness plan so you're able to recover strong. I hope that this information has been very helpful. So you were able to get ideas on where to start and how to approach your finances during a challenging time. And right now it seems like our income is getting reduced because everything is higher and higher in price. So again, look at your spending plan. Look at where your money is being spent and try to reduce some expenses so you are able to continue to get your necessities such as groceries, transportation, medication. All right. So today's presentation is designed for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an investment, tax, or legal advice. Questions? All right. So here it is. Here is the American Heritage Credit Union dedicated phone line for members and non-members, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So talk to a certified counselor. It is confidential. It is private. And see what they can help you to build a budget or maybe help you to achieve your goals.